Where do you think, now that they're taken over by Ari Emanuel, Patrick Whitesell, where will the UFC go? Is going to remain UFC president. Is it going to be business as usual? Will it be the same?
I think initially it will be, but as we saw at 200, just from what was going on just outside the cage, it's going to turn into something different. Sure.
Meaning the celebrities with Justin Timberlake, Tom Brady.
I think it's going to turn into, a WME show.
Which is more of, is it theatrics or entertainment? Is that?
That's, by the way, that's Dana right now.
With that, well, it becoming more of a entertainment based and driven though. Some of the fighters have said, Conor McGregor he said, I was honored to work under the Fertitas, but some of the fighters were saying, well, hey, it's a 54-46 pay scale. We want to be more like the NFL where it's 50-50. But first of all, in my mind, do they even know what percentage that they're at, since no one actually knows what the books are, right?
True, and of course that's, brings up a whole other category of issues, which, would lead into whether or not the Expansion Act to the Muhammad Ali Act, would help. And so, and one of the aspects of that is, having the ability to see financials, to see what a promoter is making per event, so that it becomes, a more even playing field for a fighter, so that they can see, oh, well, I'm getting paid, take any boxer, on any one of these PBC cards, I'm getting paid, 1.6 million. And I kind of know that this is what the deal is. Here's probably what the venue's going to do, and here's probably what the TV rights are worth. So that's one of the aspects of that potential federal legislation that might change this whole formula.
And as far as fighters getting more pay, do you think that's going to change with the new owners?
Well, I mean, they paid a lot of money. I don't think they're going to,
Right.
I mean, I think that probably what they'll do is they'll sprinkle a lot of fairy dust and tell everybody they're going to get movies and TV and et cetera, and maybe some will, but I mean, whether or not they're going to pay more, I'd be surprised. I mean, they have to be able to squeeze a lot of money out of this deal. If they paid $4 billion or $4.2 billion, whatever it is, I mean, there's a lot of money you got to squeeze out of there. And one piece of it is, Michael Dell, took a chunk of this, and his interest, as I understand it, is basically, he has a preferred interest, so he has a cumulative dividend that's being paid. So basically, he has to get paid his interest on his money. It's almost like debt, but it's preferred equity. So he gets interest on his money, no matter what. So, I mean, they got a lot to pay out. And, they still have some fairly meaningful litigation, that they're slamming away on, against the fighters, as a class. And so that, and I mean, they're probably going to spend, millions in legal fees. I'm sure that's expected, but I'm sure part of this deal had to be some sort of a set aside,
Right.
for the potential losses if that goes to trial and if the fighters were to prevail. And selling the company at $4 billion, I don't know that helps them, Zuffa, in
Right.
that case, because it almost sets the value in some ways that all these guys have been, putting their blood and sweat and their brains.
Right. Right. As now moving forward, though, do you think with the you kind of gave your synopsis for the NFL thing, but that is where you're still thinking like this is not going to happen like next year, right? With
I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, they may have already, gotten enough of a consensus in the NFL to be able to maneuver this, and then it's going to require a change in the rules because they're significant casino holders. They have a direct interest,
Right.
and that's historically a problem. But I mean, could that change? Yeah, that could change.
Well, let's segue. I just wanted to, I put out on Twitter when this happened that credited you for the story for something obviously I couldn't break because it was more of a hearsay than it happened.